I'm Tim Burton. I drew from the very beginning, and then what seemed to happen is as you went through school, teachers say, oh, you shouldn't draw like this, you should draw like that. So by the time kids got about like 10 years old, they could think they couldn't draw. Even if somebody was telling me I couldn't draw, I still liked doing it. I was lucky enough to have a teacher who didn't try to force me to draw a certain way. She encouraged people to sort of, whatever sort of strength they had to kind of go with it and kind of do their own style or do their own spirit of work. And it also was a way of exploring your fantasy life and your, emotional core. So it's always been an important part of my life. Well, I haven't really shown any of this stuff. I never really considered it like art or artwork, mainly because it was not really meant to be seen, really. I mean, it was all sort of the process I was doing when I was either thinking of ideas or working on projects or just helping my own mental process. One of the things I love about what Moma is doing is that it's not a categorization, and it's not just film stuff or drawing stuff. They've done a really good job of trying to blur those lines of what those things are. All these kind of things, whether photographs or little writings or sketches, for me are the most important part of any project. I mean, because once I'm doing it, like when I have to communicate with people, it's not easy for me. So the important work has to be done like in these little private projects. Well, going through all the artwork that I hadn't been through before, it really has re-energized me. There's something about that kind of reconnects you to the world and who you are and what you've done and what you want to do. It's not till I look back that I kind of realize that I kind of obsessed with a certain thematic thing in a way. A lot of it, I think, has to do with your upbringing, your background, and how you felt as a child or as a young adult. And that sort of feeling of isolation and being alone, or and being inside your own head or your own mind has always been something that I felt very strongly. So that sort of connection with people that don't quite fit into society. The word normal always scared me because that indicated something that was quite subversively terrifying in some way. Again, growing up on monster movies where that was the dynamic in each and every one of those, where the monster was sort of the outcast and the people were much more of the sort of villainous element to it. That's always been important to me, and I can't seem to get rid of it. When I was an animator at Disney, I was much weirder than I am now at that time. I found that when I wore striped socks, I felt more grounded. It's a very strange circular dynamic because I was feeling very crazy or very floaty or whatever, and when I started wearing striped socks, I just felt calmer and more grounded, and so I don't really know what else to say about that one. I'm always amazed at how certain images freak out adults when in fact it was something that was very much a part of probably their childhood and every other. And that's what fairy tales, I always felt, did for me, is that they're